Greetings, everyone! Every homemaker has her own treasured recipes, those passed down through generations, once prepared by our grandmothers, and perhaps even great-grandmothers. Tsibulnyky is one of those dishes. Today, I want to share this old recipe with you. These are simple to make, but so delicious that once you try them, you'll want to return to them again and again. Tsibulnyky are a kind of fritter, where the key ingredient isn't potato or flour, but onion. Once cooked, onion takes on a tender, slightly sweet flavor, and spices, along with sour cream, bring out a full and rich taste. So, onion is the base of this dish. Start by peeling 600 grams of onion and chopping it into small cubes. To avoid the burning sensation in your eyes while cutting, you can soak the onions in ice-cold water or place them in the freezer for a few minutes. This helps reduce their sharpness significantly. You might have noticed, if an onion has been sitting in a warm kitchen, it's much harder to peel or cut without tears. But if it comes from a cold cellar or fridge, it's way gentler, easier to handle, and it won't sting your eyes. It also tastes milder when cooked. Dice the onion finely and add half a teaspoon of salt. Mix thoroughly so the salt spreads evenly and let it sit for 10 minutes. The salt will draw out moisture, which needs to be drained so the batter doesn't become too watery. However, onions vary. If after 10 minutes there's no excess juice, that's fine. But if you do see liquid, go ahead and drain it. Next, we season and prepare the batter. Add half a tablespoon of sugar. It enhances the onion's natural sweetness, and 1 gram of ground black pepper. Take 2 eggs and beat them well with a fork before mixing them into the onion. The eggs bind everything together and help the fritters hold their shape while frying, while also making them softer. It's important to chop the onion as finely as possible. Large pieces will fall apart and won't bind well. Now add 2 tablespoons of sour cream and 3 tablespoons of semolina. Sour cream and semolina give the batter a soft, airy texture. The lactic acid in sour cream also mellows the sharpness of raw onion and brings out its sweetness. The semolina will absorb excess moisture, so after mixing, let the batter sit for 15 to 20 minutes. Once the semolina has had time to soak, the mixture becomes smoother and more cohesive. Thanks to semolina, your fritters will be tender, not dense or rubbery, but with a pleasant, delicate texture. Next, take half a teaspoon of baking soda and 1 tablespoon of vinegar. Use the vinegar to quench the soda. If it bubbles, you're doing it right. Pour that foam into the batter. Mix well so there's no aftertaste. The soda and vinegar reaction makes the fritters puff up and the batter airy and light. Now add 1 tablespoon of flour to give the mixture stability. But this depends on the consistency. If your sour cream is runnier, or if the onions release a lot of juice, you might need 2 tablespoons of flour. In the end, the batter should be the texture of thick sour cream. That's why it's key to let the semolina soak first, so you can add less flour and still get a batter that holds its shape and doesn't fall apart when frying. Now comes the most important step, frying. Place a skillet over medium heat and add oil. Make sure there's enough oil so that Tsibulnyky don't burn, but not too much either. When the oil is hot enough, use a tablespoon to scoop the batter into the pan. Only a tablespoon, no more. Shape small fritters of similar size so they cook evenly. Fry for 3 to 4 minutes on one side over medium heat until golden. Don't raise the heat. Onions burn easily. Then carefully flip them and fry for another 2 to 3 minutes on the other side. As they fry, you'll see how they rise and fluff up beautifully. After flipping, cover the pan with a lid to make sure they cook through completely. I don't know the exact origin of Tsibulnyky, but my grandmother said her great-grandmother made them during times of famine, when meat was scarce, but you still had to feed a family. Today, they've become a real delicacy. And there's no reason to be ashamed of our food history. This forgotten recipe is a true gem. The onion in Tsibulnyky becomes soft, tender, and mildly sweet. Many people tasting them wouldn't even guess they're made from onion. To me, the taste is slightly reminiscent of zucchini fritters. There's even an internet legend about this dish. Once, the Tatars laid siege to Lviv and sent envoys to demand surrender. The city refused, pretending to have plentiful food. They filled carts with empty barrels and covered them with scraps of food. Meanwhile, inside starving Lviv, women were feeding the defenders almost entirely with onions, cooked into Tsibulnyky. Whether it's true or not, who knows? But maybe there's some truth in it. Tsibulnyky are best served hot, fresh from the pan. Serve them with sour cream. It makes them even more tender and aromatic. Garnish with herbs. They're incredibly delicious. They were often served with borscht or meat broth instead of bread. Do try this old recipe. It's sure to surprise and win you over. The inside is soft and juicy, the outside crisp, with the sweet flavor of onion pairing wonderfully with the tang of sour cream, and you'd never guess it's just onion. This dish is a true culinary treasure. It shows how something amazing can come from just a few simple ingredients.